Hi guys, and welcome back to World of Tanks, and it's time for another subscriber series. Not done one for a week or so I thought I'd put one in, and this is a match that I've been meaning to show for a couple of weeks now, but it's quite a long game, so it couldn't go on the last one, and like I said, I didn't do a subscriber series last week, so here it is, and it's Rydinko 254 in the Soviet IS-2, the premium version. Now, a lot of similarities between the tech tree IS and the Chinese IS-2, which is in the tech tree as well. It's got the same sloped frontal armour as the Chinese IS, which obviously is one of the main differences between this and the Soviet IS. And but this has got slightly thicker armour to that sloping. Very similar guns. Like I say, there are slight differences, but they're all very much of an ilk. Now the gun on this, it's a pretty standard Soviet D25, or a variation of it at least, about 4.8 rounds a minute roughly, and you're talking 175 pen, 390 damage, so it's that 122mm Soviet gun that many of us are familiar with, either from using it or being on the receiving end. Now, this is a tier 7 match, and it's on Karelia. In fact, both of the matches that I've got for you today are on Karelia. And that 175 pen, you see, I think this sees up to tier 9. In fact, I'm pretty sure it does. It doesn't have preferential matchmaking. And that 175 pen, it's fine in a tier 7 match. It's alright in a tier 8 match. It's workable. In a tier 9 match, it starts to become a little bit of a liability. But fortunately, the IS-2 is, even though it's a heavy, is nimble enough to get around and get onto the flanks and sort of use that slightly lower pen, but when it does hit, like I say, it does pack a punch. Now, Rydinko is down on the, well, he's down on the south of the map, down in that valley, the heavy valley, TD valley, whatever you'd like to call it. I do see a lot of heavy tanks coming down here, and TD's normally sitting at one end or the other. But it's the southern valley anyway, and he's putting a defence on this corner against well, oh no, it's a Panzer M10 there, the Panther M10 should I say, the ones that are disguised as Wolverines. I think they've got 150 pen, something like that, 135 damage possibly, and obviously got turned into the champion tank from the tank ball there. But like I said before, there's Rydinko and a few other guys putting up a defence on this corner. Now, sometimes this gun can be a little bit trolly with just missing altogether. It does have a fairly lengthy aim time, and sometimes that pen does just let you down where other tanks might not. The T29, the Tiger, they sort of spring to mind. You're looking at sort of 198 pen, 203 pen on those ones at tier 7. But anyway, back to this. They've managed to fend off most of the guys on the corner. They're all pulling back, and it's now just a case of mopping up, it seems, as he puts a bit of a snapshot into that Panther M10. Everybody else that was down here on the enemy team seemed to be dealt with. So they're going to stop pushing forwards, try and work their way around. It is a team destruction, so there's no base to cap. And it looks like there's no more enemy tanks down this end. So he's going to go up the hill and see what he can see from up there. Now, just quickly as well, this video should have gone up last night. I'm getting very fed up with my capture card laptop double team combo that they keep doing on me. And I think it's about time I need to start saving up for a new capture card and a new laptop. My capture card has been good to me, but it's I've had it for nearly a year now, and I think I've put it through an amount of usage that it probably wasn't designed for. It's just a little LGP Lite, which is a sort of portable one, so yeah, I think I need something a bit more heavy duty. But anyway, the video is going up now, so all's well, and there'll be another one later, all being willing. Right, oh, that was a bit of a miss on the Tiger. Sometimes, as you know, with Soviet vehicles, you can aim and shoot like that, not fully aimed, and the hand of Stalin will rise up from the depths and guide your shell to its target. unfortunately not that time. It looks like he's not sacrificed enough dissidents to the Gulag. And at this point he is running very low on ammunition. He's got one armor piercing round left, which is making sure goes into that T25, and it did. Got a good hit, and now he's down to, well, 8 APCR and 3 HE rounds. So he's going to have to make this count. 11 shells remaining. Well, that's now down to 10, and that was another kill. It did take a hit there, I think it was, from the T25. Oh no, there we go. But he's going to get alongside him, puts another good hit into him, and then a teammate, well, takes him out of the battle. Now, not many guys left on the enemy team. Radinko's team do have a fairly decent lead here of 3 tanks. It could be brought back, however, that was a nice solid hit through the front of the T29, and that's left him on, well, a one-hit kill for anything that can hit him and pen, and that was Radinko, so that's his 5th kill of the game. Now, the SU-152 from the enemy team has managed to come up that hill from the other side, but he does bounce. I can't quite tell, but I think that could be the short 152 mil. It does kind of look like it is. It was turning, although I could be slightly wrong. Couldn't quite get a good look at it with the preview window that I have the preview window that I have to do the commentary through. I couldn't quite tell there. But if it was, and he was using if he was using armor piercing, that would explain sort of how he bounced, because you've got 2 choices of gun on that one. You've got the 152mm derp gun, very similar to the one on the KV2, and you basically fire HE out of it, and then if you hit, you're just going to do damage whether you pen or not. Or you can have a version of the 122mm D25, but it's got a fantastic rate of fire at nearly 8 rounds a minute, I think it is. Maybe slightly over, no, I think it is, yeah, nearly 8 rounds a minute, so yeah, very good rate of fire on that gun. But he's pulled back, left his top just in view, and Radinko put a nice one through and took off nearly half his health. Like I say, these Russian 122s do pack a punch. Now, the SU-152 is pulling back down the hill, not surprisingly, and Radinko's just popping over, trying to get a shot at the guy, and hopefully might be able to finish him off if it can hit him. He's definitely going to finish him off now, but somebody else takes the kill. Now, there's just 2 enemies left on the opposite team. Radinko was pulling back, he'd been spotted, he's not anymore. There's one of them, a Churchill 7. Very tough tier 6. And I'm not entirely sure where that shell went, but it did not hit its mark, unfortunately. And he's only got 4 shells remaining. Now, as I'm watching this, I was rooting for him to get Faden's medal out of this. I'm not going to say whether he does or he doesn't, but at this point, when I saw how low his ammunition count was, I was thinking that, you know, I'm rooting for that Faden's medal. But I'm not going to say whether he gets it, whether he doesn't. You'll just have to wait and see. But it's definitely a possibility. Now, the enemy Tiger and the Churchill are now out of sight. There's only 4 heavy tanks left on Radinko's team. There's himself. I'm not sure what the other one is. I think there's an M6 somewhere knocking about. Now the Churchill's popped up, and he's firing at something. And that Tiger looked to be on fairly decent health when I saw him as well. He's just got the tracks of the Churchill, whether that's enough for him to hit and do some damage, and it is. And that was his last APCR round, but it took a nice chunk of health off that Churchill 7, and he's done and going back to the garage, and now there's just a hammer left. That's what it is, a hammer. Well, kind of right, still a Tiger. And all he's got left are 3 HE shells. Now, the fairly sizable HE shells, so even if they hit and don't pen, you're looking at, well, that was 188 damage. So he could do this, he could HE him to death, and that's something that I possibly wouldn't have done. It looked like the guy was getting his tracks back up just as he disappeared off radar, and with only having 2 shells left, I probably wouldn't have taken a speculative shot at his position. Maybe would have waited for him to turn back up. If it did, like I say, it did just look as though his tracks were coming back up as he disappeared, so if that wasn't the case, I definitely would have taken a speculative shot. Or if I'd have had a lot more ammo on me, definitely would have done then. But with such a low ammo count, I don't know if I'd have done that. But Redinko did, and now it's done. And let's see if he will regret that decision, or whether it was the right thing to do, because that hammer was on very low health. He's got 1 shell left in the tank. Fade-ins is definitely on the table, and for those of you that don't know what a fade-ins is, because it is quite a rare medal, it's for killing the last enemy of the game with the last shell in your tank. So sometimes you may have seen people towards the end of the game, when there's only 1 tank left, sort of shooting randomly at things. Chances are they're trying to drop their ammo count down to try and get a fade-ins medal and, you know, kill the last guy with the last round. But that's what a fade-ins is. And I am rooting for him to get it. There's 3 of them left. One of the heavies has been taken out, and all that's left on the enemy team is that very heavily damaged hammer. And he was last seen up around the sort of D3, C4-ish area. So he's going to be up there somewhere. They don't have the bigger engine from the Tech Tree Tiger or the Tiger 131, but they can still get a move on when they get going. So it doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be there. And while Redinko was moving round, they lost another heavy. So now it's just Redinko in his IS-2 on a very precarious ammo count of 1. And I believe, if I remember rightly, an M6 who's sat down in the swamp. Now, there's the hammer, and he takes the shot and hits him for 205, and that was a really good shot, but it just wasn't enough to finish him off, which is absolutely gutting. That's the fade-ins medal gone, and he puts the out of ammo indication up there to basically tell the other guy down there that he's out of ammunition. The Tiger takes a shot, while the hammer takes a shot, bounces off his side, and Redinko's keeping him spotted. Now, I have no clue what the guy in the other heavy is doing. Like I say, if memory serves me, it's an M6. It did just pop up there, but I didn't quite get a look. But yeah, it's just like, what are you doing? He's told you he's out of ammunition twice now. He knows where the hammer is. He's there. He's on very, very low health. And I don't think the hammer knows where you are. And now he springs into action. There's 45 seconds left, and he's decided to relocate, whether to get a shot or whether he's going to come around behind the hammer, I don't know. But I was screaming at this, and just, I was so gutted for you that you didn't get the fade-ins medal, Redinko. But when I was watching this, I was just, I could not believe it. What the hell is the M6 doing? I mean, it did occur to me that he might have been out of ammunition as well, but I'm not too sure. But it just, oh, I was gutted. Absolutely gutted for you. Fantastic match that you played. Huge amount of damage done in this Tier 7 Premium Heavy. But yeah, I was slightly gutted for you there at the end, as I imagine you were as well. But thank you for sending this in. Like I say, it was a huge damage game. 123,000 credits, 5,000, well, 5,500 XP, 6,191 damage done, 2,200 blocked, ace tanker out of there, high caliber, Confederate steel wall, and mark of excellence as well. So yes, very, very good game, Redinko. Thank you for sending me that one in. I do appreciate it, and I've been meaning to show it for a couple of weeks, but it is a very long game, so I couldn't put it on the last one because it would have made that an exceedingly long video, and this one is quite lengthy as it is because both of the replays are actually fairly long, and both of them do come down to the wire. But yeah, very, very good game. So yeah, thank you again for sending me that one in. Now my throats are cleared, and I'm not sounding like I'm a teenager with my voice breaking. This is IG88 Awards, or Dave. I'm going to take a leaf out of Jingle's book, and yes, anybody who I can't pronounce their name or something like that, I think they are probably going to be called something like Dave. So, Dave is in a tier 4 match. It's Corellia in the rain, and he's in the US Sexton 1, a tier 3 premium artillery. Possibly the most overpowered artillery in the entire game. It is fantastic fun, but it does almost feel like cheating. I do have one of these. The accuracy, the aim time, the rate of fire, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And you can see, I mean, watch the aim circle. It basically just surrounds the tank when it's fully aimed, and you have to try quite hard to miss. Especially when it's stationary as well. When it's moving, obviously, yeah, you know, forgive you there, but I mean, just look at that. It just hugs the entire tank, and boom, you hit. So it's not very far into the game so far. 3 hits landed, 4 hits landed, 3 kills. That's a damn good start to the game. And now he's going to go after the Type 95, and I don't normally show artillery replays because, let's face it, most of them, the vast majority, and it's nothing against artillery, they are boring to watch, you know, just looking at stuff like this. But when it's something like this, where it's a little low tier, little machine gun of an artillery almost, and you know, it can be quite entertaining. You know, some of you from playing the high tier artillery, oh, you've sped it up. No, I haven't. The US Sexton 1 is just that good. And yeah, artillery replays get entertaining as well when the shit hits the fan, really, and when they have to transform into TD mode, that can be quite entertaining. So that's what you've got here as well. Now it's taken an idea of where that heavy might have been, but unfortunately did hit the rock, and with this tank it carries a huge amount of ammo. Like I say, very, very good reload. And you can afford to take speculative shots like that when you know, when somebody disappears off radar and you think you know where they are. You can afford to do it because within a few seconds you reloaded, and the accuracy on this thing, the accuracy is actually better than some standard tanks in the game, which is quite bizarre. Now he's going after this M3 Lee. And don't forget, this is a tier 4 match, so he's not top tier. When this thing's top tier, it can just wreck, well, the enemy team, full stop. Now he's going after that Hetzer, but he's having to move his hull and re-aim, but the Hetzer's stopped. There's a good opportunity for another kill. Oh, it just went over though. I did say I have to try very hard to miss in this thing. That was not down to Dave, that was just the RNG kicking in a little bit. Now, Hetzer looks like he's out of range. With the US Sexton 1, premium ammunition, by the way, are armour piercing rounds, and if you load those, you actually get extra distance. So you do get some extra range with your armour piercing over your HE. So do bear that in mind. If something's just out of range, flick to your premium and see if you can hit them then. But at the minute, he's going after the Panzer B2, which is the German captured version of the French B1, the tier 4 heavy. And he managed to get a hit on the Type 95. Type 95 gets taken out just as he fires, and yeah, the shell went on target, but unfortunately the guy was already dead. Now he's going for the B2 and manages to finish him off. It's always harder to hit people when they're on a back slope of a hill as well. The shells quite often just skim over them. Now he's turning his attention back to the Hetzer, takes the shot, and the Hetzer just pulled forward, and the shell landed behind him. That was unfortunate. It's almost like he got a sixth sense, yeah. You know what I mean. But yeah, just as soon as the shell was about to land, he moved. Now again, took a speculative shot at where he thought that enemy tank was going to be, but he'd gone, and unfortunately now, Dave's team are, well, they are dwindling slightly. The enemy team have got a 2-tank lead. Again, taking a speculative shot on that Hetzer. There's a light tank going around the corner, so hopefully he'll be able to see the Hetzer in just a second. But the other flank, the sort of northwestern flank, is looking quite unguarded, and yeah, they do have a bit of a lead. There's a lot of tanks not spotted on the map, so that could be a very bad thing if they decide to come round from the northeastern side. And I'm not sure if Dave, if he feels the same thing, or if he's just moving to get a better shot. But sometimes what lets RT players down is they don't pay attention to the map. They don't pay attention when an entire flank is just gone, and they will stay there, and then they're normally the first thing to get spotted as the enemy team come around that flank, and they get killed. So, like I say, whether that was the plan there, whether he'd seen that, or whether it was just to get a better shot, I'm not entirely sure, but it definitely was the right thing to do to move. He's going back after that Hetzer again, who is proving very, very elusive, but he's done now, and that's him out of the game. So they are starting to, well, I was going to say starting to claw back the difference, but the enemy team have got another kill as well, so it's still a 2-tank head lead to the enemy team. Now he's going to try and move in a bit closer. Could possibly even, yeah, just lock on at that one. He's still going for the top-down review, waiting for the aim circle. Takes his shot, just misses. It's very, very close though. Takes another one to where he might possibly be, but unfortunately he's not there. Now the enemy team is starting to push through the swamp slightly as well. Panzer 4D is just waiting for the aim, then he moves it over the tank, takes the shot, and boom. That was a lovely shot. A lot of damage done, that definitely penned and took him down. And now there's an M3 Lee on the corner. That's the one that was coming around before. He's just aiming up, waiting for it to just surround that M3 Lee. Takes the shot, but it doesn't pen, but it does do splash damage and damages his tracks. And you'll notice at the top of the screen now, yeah, there's only 2 guys left on Dave's team. It's looking very shaky. There's himself, there's a medium, and well, the enemy team, they've got 6 tanks left. Not anymore though. That was a nice double kill from Dave and his teammate there. Took them both down at the same time. That was almost coordinated. So now it's down to 4 on the enemy team. We've got 2 RT, a heavy and a light tank. Now one of them, at least, well yeah, one of them is in cap. Maybe another one sat outside of cap, waiting to set a trap. But nope, there he is. There's Type 95, which is the enemy heavy. And again, just waiting for that aim, so he's got the best chance of taking him out. And if he does hit him, there's a good chance it's going to be a one-shot kill. And there he goes. Now, this has been a very good defence. There's just 1 guy left in cap, and I've got a feeling that it's probably going to be the light tank. There we go. Panzer 1C, and he just comes down, takes a shot, takes a few shots at Dave Sexton, but he just sort of almost calmly shotguns him. Just takes the hits, shrugs them off, and here you go. Now, 2 enemy RT left. 2 low tier enemy RT. One thing the Sexton doesn't have is a brilliant view range, which is fair enough, it's an artillery. Now, low tier artillery can be very, very sneaky. Artillery can be sneaky anyway. Low tier artillery even more so. So now it's just a case of what do you do? Do you go looking for the RT? Do you try and pick the most likely route that they may take towards your cap, or do you take the chance of going for their cap and hope that you get there before they get to yours, or do you go looking for them? Just over 5.5 minutes left in the game. I've forgotten how to speak English, it seems, and it's seemingly going to come down to the wire. It's now 13 all. Dave's team, or IG88 Awards, and I'm probably saying that completely wrong anyway, so but yeah, his team have been, well, they were sort of a couple of tanks down for most of the match, but it's been a very, very good comeback, and well, he's managed to rack up 9 kills so far. And don't forget, he wasn't top tier. He wasn't bottom tier, quite. I think this thing does stay up to tier 5, if memory serves me. But he wasn't top tier. Now, like I say, this is a very, very fun little artillery. Incredibly fun. There's one of the enemy RT. It's a Vesper. And he's just managed to take him down. I was just going to say that might not just hit him, because the very tip of the line turned blue, but no, it did. That was a good shot, and that's 10 kills down. All that's left now is the last remaining enemy artillery. But where the hell is he going to be? That RT was moving in. I have a feeling he was going for cap, and I've got a funny feeling that the other artillery might have gone a different way and could also be going for cap. Now, the worst thing that could happen is if Dave and his teammate got to the enemy cap, were just about to go into it or whatever, or getting close to it, and their cap starts going off. And it was just telling them he needs a target. There's the last enemy RT. He is in the friendly cap. But it's a case of actually spotting him, and you can see just how small the view range is on this. If you look down at the map there, it's got a very, very small view range cone. I think all RT do. None of them have a particularly good view range, which is fair enough, because they would be then completely overpowered if they could also outspot most of the tanks on the team, as well as one-shot kill a lot of the tanks on the enemy team, which some of the high-tier artillery are definitely capable of. So yeah, I think the shorter view range, very, very welcome on these RT. Not so much for Dave though, unfortunately. But the only the only thing he's got to be thankful for really is that the last guy on the enemy team is also an RT, so he's also got a very, very short view range. Let's just hope that Dave's is slightly larger. And I mean his view range, before anybody starts giggling. Now he's using the rocks to try and creep up, and it's really coming down to the wire. 20 seconds left. He's trying to get as close as he can before he hopefully spots the enemy tank, which will give him the best chance of hitting him. Even though it's very accurate, it still takes a few seconds to aim. 3, 2, no, that's it. On console, once it hits 0, you're done. Mission over. And that's the shot that just goes wide. I was gutted for you. Absolutely gutted. He doesn't run a premium account on it, or it wasn't on that, but that was a very, very good match. Came out with a Gauze, which is doing 10 times the hit points of your vehicle, and a Starks, which is for taking a couple of hits and either surviving or bouncing them and killing at least 2 vehicles, a Top Gun and a Mastery. No Devastator or Radley Walters, because you've got to be tier 5, I think it is for Radley. Everything you kill has got to be tier 4. For a Devastator, well, tier 4 or above, should I say, but yeah, Gauze Medal did at least 10 times the hit points of your vehicle in damage. And the Starks, like I say, for taking the 2 hits and surviving or bouncing them, and for killing at least 2 vehicles. Well, they did that. It came out of that with 10 kills. So, fantastic little RT match. Great fun little RT. Even though it is slightly overpowered. But there you go, another subscriber series. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry it didn't go up yesterday. But I will be back. It's going up now, like I say. So at least there is that. And I'll be back later on with another video for you. So until then, take care out there, and I'll catch you next time. See you later.